Today's top stories at NBR. Ampol announces sale of Gull. Another alarm about businesses lagging behind net zero carbon effort. Finance industry expects to hear about changes to lending rules. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, 100% subscriber funded and proudly brought to you by you, as is every story at nbr.co.nz. It's Monday, March 14th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. The government has announced a cut of 25 cents a litre off fuel tax for 3 months as part of a cost of living relief package, and public transport fares will be cut in half for the same amount of time. The Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, announced the measures late this afternoon.
But when it comes to the specific issue of the impact the war in Ukraine is having on fuel costs, we expect continued volatility.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. Z Energy takeover bidder Ampol has announced the sale of its New Zealand fuel retail subsidiary Gull for an enterprise value of $572 million. Selling Gull was required for Ampol to get Commerce Commission clearance to buy Z Energy. In a statement, Ampol said it had sold Gull to Australian private equity firm Allegro Funds. The transaction is conditional on the Commerce Commission approving Allegro as buyer, Overseas Investment Office approval, and Ampol completing its acquisition of Z Energy. Ampol said it had committed to a 5-year supply agreement with Gull, as requested by Allegro, subject to annual price reviews and termination rights. Ampol said Gull's manager Dave Bodger and his team would be retained by the new owner. Researchers from the University of London are sounding another alarm about New Zealand businesses lagging behind in the effort to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050, with around a third of the 800 decision-makers surveyed saying they are set to miss the target without help. The Accelerating the Journey to Carbon Zero report, commissioned by Microsoft New Zealand, measured 7 key areas of sustainability. New Zealand has had rising emissions since 1990, a unique situation among the study's global participants, with many Western industrialised countries having begun to reduce them in recent years. According to Dr. Chris Brower, report lead author and Director of Innovation at Goldsmiths University, part of the University of London. Brower said he's encouraged by the country's ambition, but recognising the obstacles and identifying how organisations can overcome them is key to meeting the target. The former owner of Taupō's famed Hookah Lodge, a core asset in a decades-long feud between Alexander Van Heeren and the late businessman Michael Kidd, received $33.1 million from its sale, financial statements show. The sale of the luxury resort to US private equity firm KSL Capital Partners settled in February 2021. That was in order to pay US $25 million on behalf of Van Heeren, who had owed Kidd the money under court order since 2015. Kidd died in South Africa early last year. The sale required Overseas Investment Office approval, but the sale price was withheld. On Friday, however, financial statements for Van Heeren's Worldwide Leisure for the year ended March 31st, 2021 were published on the company's office. Those accounts show that $33.1 million was generated as proceeds from the sale of Hookah Lodge. When the world got upended by COVID, it's not surprising that creative agency We Are Indigo got creative. The Ponsonby-based firm was then a fledgling design and content agency founded mid-2019 by former Xero Global Director of Media Pat McPhee, cross-code sporting star Monty Beetham, and the founding chief executive of the Ice House, Andy Hamilton. Pat McPhee joined the NBR's Nicola Shepherd.
We created a platform, got some great advisors and mentors on board, and within the space of a week, it had gone viral. Fast forward 2 years later, and we've had about 300,000 small businesses through that platform. We're now a bona fide, as you say, type of LinkedIn, social media type platform for small business, and really focusing now on Māori Pacifica marginalised communities around 3 programs that we bring.
We Are Indigo co-founder Pat McPhee with Nicola Shepherd there. The finance industry is expecting to hear early this week how the government will implement changes to its much criticised new responsible lending rules. On Friday, the government said it would amend the Credit Contracts and Consumer Finance Act regime, which financiers say has prevented good quality borrowers from getting loans. The new regulations were designed to crack down on predatory lenders, and Commerce and Consumer Affairs Minister David Clark said practical amendments would be made to curb any unintended consequences. But Lynn McMorran, Executive Director of industry body the Financial Services Federation, says so far all lenders had seen was the Minister's press release. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, in Margin Call, Nicholas Bagnall explains why things have changed for telco stocks, while in his weekly column, Playing the Ball, Martin Devlin turns to golf and why fans should revolt against the proposed Saudi Golf League. I'm Paul Brennan. Join me again from around lunchtime tomorrow for the morning's NBR Trending Stories. Then same time again right here from 5:30 for another NBR Today.